Welcome to the Garage USA. I'm Jonathan Brinke. Today I'm at my brother's shop where he's going to be replacing the cylinder head on a Honda CRV. Thanks for joining me. Today I'm at my brother's shop where they are replacing the cylinder head on a Honda CRV.
Alright, so what we're working on is a Honda CRV 2006 with the 2.4 liter K24A1, so the first generation of the K series motor. It does have VTEC. The VTEC is actually one of the big reasons why it's here in the shop. When we get into it, we'll show you what's all going on and why we're tearing this down. So while we're getting stuff set up and the engine 2 top dead center on cylinder 1, if you look right here, this is the control arm bolt for the front control arm. There's the rear side that obviously is not in there. So yeah, it's a good thing we're in here, good thing we're looking around. We'll need to get this figured out and sorted out, as well as getting the engine all done. So when you're pulling Honda crank bolts off, I'd highly recommend getting the specific weighted Honda crank pulley socket. This will make the job cake work comparatively. What is that, like almost a pound? Something like that. It's pretty heavy, and it'll pull them right off. Something that we did notice when we were taking this thing apart is the intake cam phaser has been replaced, and when they replaced it, they did not time the exhaust cam correctly. And the biggest way that I know that they did not time it correctly is so these guys go in these little holes. This one does not fit all the way in. It's not actually engaging. Also on the dots up here, so you got the mark here, the mark there isn't where it's supposed to be. It's actually off a full tooth. I don't know if you can really see it on the camera, but it's actually off. So yeah, somebody's definitely been in here before and they did not do this right. Alright, so another thing that we ran across while working on this thing is the previous person who worked on this stripped this bolt right here. So we're gonna have to actually take the head off with this tensioner still attached. Yeah, this has been interesting to work on. Alright, so once again, kind of going over how VVT works. So these are actually independent. So you'll have on low RPM, it'll crack this one first, and then this one will open all the way up. On high RPM, it'll lock together like this one is, which this should not be locked. The pin that actually locks them is stuck, so the valve, the rocker arm setup is actually bad. And these rockers are really expensive per rocker. It was actually cheaper to buy a full head assembly than to replace the cams and rockers. And yeah, going forward, all of these are linked together. What length is your breaker bar?
This is a 30-inch breaker bar with a 10-inch extension.
You are putting in some serious twist when you're breaking those things free.
It's fine.
All right, so the cylinder head is off. I actually have it right over here, but the tension is still attached. So yeah, there's the old cylinder head. So the cylinder head is off, and if you look in here, there's a little bit of cylinder scoring. You know, it's not terrible. We can all, you know, I can also tell that this is the first time that this head has been off, which is good. Seeing how the rest of the repairs that have been done on this thing prior to me tearing into it have been such a quality job. Yeah, so now we're going to start putting it back together. So we're just about ready to put the head on. I did take one of the old head bolts, and if you notice, right there and right there, those two cuts in it, I turned this head bolt into a chase so I could make sure all the bolt holes in the block are nice and clean so that we have the best chance of getting this thing on without any issues. All right, so the head is on. We do have the head bolts ready to start getting tightened down. The torque sequence on this is 29 foot-pounds, 90 degrees, 90 degrees. On the Hondas, you do oil the threads, you oil the washers to make sure that it goes on nice and smooth. As you're tightening these down, if it makes any noise, back it off, tighten it, and start all the way back over, because these should go in pretty smooth and pretty silently. All right, so we're on the final torque. $67 degrees. $123, almost 124 Newton meters. Okay, so I'm gonna reset this real quick. I'm gonna drop a little bit of paint right on the top of that, just so I know that it's done. Hit stop. So the timing assembly is on, and the cam caps are now getting tightened down to 16 foot-pounds. And if you look, so timing mark in those, this one's going to be the same way. That's matched up, that's matched up. That's supposed to point at the dot. And bottom one, I'll show you that here in a second. And then down here, it might be difficult to see, but there's a timing mark on the block that corresponds with a timing mark on the gear. The brass colored tooth, there's a timing mark on the tooth on that particular gear that at this point you're not going to be able to see. And yeah, so that's that put together. So now we have everything for the most part put together. Now we have to set the valve lash, which we do have the 1 and 3 done, 1 and 2 done. I need to do 3 and 4 yet. So up front, so the intake is 8 to 10 thousandths. We're going to be setting it at 9 thousandths of an inch. And the back, which are back here, is, I believe, 11 to 13 thousandths of an inch. And yeah, and that's where we're at.
Oh, hey, my Rajo's ready?
Yep.
I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'd like to thank you for watching The Garage USA. I'm Jonathan Brinke, and I'll see you next time.